start. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, April 15th, and we are here in conversation with Megha Venkatasamy from Mauritius. And today is also Vishu, so I want to start by wishing everybody happy Vishu. It's the new year for all Malayalis, and I think it's also new year for Tamilians, Punjabis, Baisakhi, and I think Bihu in Assamese. So happy new year to everyone. And Megha also today for the first time she saw Kani, Vishu Kani. So in early morning 5 a.m. we both got up and went from our house to my mom's house, and we saw the Kani, and so it was a different experience, right? To start
very moving.
Yeah.
One of the moments I would remember as I leave back here.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do one logistics thing. We have a fan going on, so I'm going to turn off the fan so the volume is much more available for all of us. So yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing Sajni and Madhura on. So welcome both of you, and please do share it so more women. It's going to be a very exciting. I'm very much excited to be here in conversation with Megha. One of my great excitement is also about her book that we are going to be doing an event. So we will get into conversation about the book Whispers of Faith. So first, I wanted to start with, because we have been doing this series, Megha, on being a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I think before we even start, do you want to tell us something about yourself? So, I have known you first through Vital Voices.
Yeah.
Megha was a Vital Voices fellow in 2015, the year that I was also a Vital Voices fellow. And that's how we connected. And we connected more when you participated in the 21 weeks of Shakti-ship, right? Of all the people in the fellowship, right?
Yeah.
I think, you were the one person who joined, and it's been a very beautiful, profound journey for me as well.
Yeah.
To knowing you, being part of your journey, and you're a life coach.
I'm a life coach.
You're a life coach. And now an author too, and you're a beautiful writer. I think you're a magician with words. She's really does magic with words, and if
that's really coming from you.
Yeah, she does. If you even on a Facebook page, she does whispers every morning, morning whispers, and they are really very, very inspiring. Just. Takes you, I feel, from the circumference of the drama that we get caught up in to the center core. It establishes you back in your own self. So I want to first maybe invite you to just tell us a little bit about, because I know that this is your first time to India, and your ancestry, and you're Mauritian, but yet you have some roots from India. So just tell everybody who is watching a little bit about yourself.
I'm from the beautiful island of Mauritius, the 5th generation of our family born and raised there. And last year, it was a very beautiful process of tracing back. So we find out that our ancestors come from Chittoor and Velu. So I was brought up in a house where our grandparents and great-grandparents would speak Tamil. So we are Tamil speakers. And though we speak Creole as a common language there, we've kind of learned bits and bits of the culture, so we have it. And like Rekha said, we have this strong connection and root that is traced back to India. And at the same time, our history tends to be very mixed, like our legacy is mixed with all those who've come there. It was during the time of slavery and indentured labor. So we kind of also feel a deep connection to Africa and the other people from the other side of the continent. But it's my first time to India, and I landed in Bangalore. And I feel I couldn't have landed anywhere else than in Bangalore, because we've journeyed with Rekha since 2015 to the She Stand Tall project. And I said that yesterday, that I feel like I haven't come here for holidays. I'm here to live for 21 days, and it's very powerful because I'm living with Rekha and her family. and it's giving me an entirely different experience. I've got friends who come to India and they went shopping around, it's been rushing. For me, there is no such thing. It's like you wake up, you have a very beautiful lunch. Actually, breakfast is very different. And I was saying yesterday, there's something very sensitive. I have a very happy transit.
I think your volume is a bit low, so I think you
My
might have
volume
to.
is low.
Yes, you might have to just speak a little bit more louder.
Okay, let me go louder. Can you hear me now? So yeah, I'm really loving being here. But I'm also loving the side of we get to hear the very undermining narratives of India.
Right.
And I'm seeing the very empowering narratives of India, how much creativity goes on here. So much initiative are being taken to create safe spaces. You are creating safe space, but the simple fact of me taking a metro at 6:30 p.m., I wouldn't even take a bus back home at that time and then get off the metro and walk the way down to your place is very powerful. So it says a lot. It says a lot of what people doesn't get to hear about India. It doesn't get to hear about innovation. It doesn't get to hear about youth movement happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't get to hear about, because that's very powerful. Like we are going through that poetry class. It's a very powerful thing, and I wish we had more of that back home. So India, when these people say incredible India, I mean, we have to move beyond that narrative of this is about culture and food and colors and clothes. No.
There's so much.
There's so much. It's about values. It's about tradition. The Vishu festival, like what I've seen this morning, is so powerful for me. It's that act of honoring what Earth has given you.
Yeah.
You've forgotten that, and you people in India haven't forgotten that.
Yeah, I mean it's where you are, right, and who you are with also.
Yeah.
So, but I think even for Indians to hear this from you, is I think a big thing, because living here we don't recognize what we have. Like when Megha is saying, living in Mauritius, which is a developed country, right? It's a very developed country.
Yeah.
And for her to say that at 6:37 when she's taking a metro and she's walking back is something not very usual for her to do in Mauritius. And like I was telling, I take the train at 10:30, walk back, and it's fine, and there might be pockets, there are many pockets of Bangalore where you might not be able to do that, but there are many pockets of Bangalore where we can still do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't acknowledge and appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's only when she's saying that, even for me, I'm like, oh wow, really? Like, it's like, wow. So I think I have also been discovering India through her eyes. So, and it's been really beautiful. It's a gift to see, because we take so many things for granted,
And I feel people are happy here. Maybe they are not aware of it, but
Yeah.
there seems to be such a lightness when I walk in the morning.
Yeah.
It feels a lightness that we're on an island. And
Correct.
imagine what it means to be on an
Right.
island.
And we all dream of being on an
Yeah.
island.
But the kind of lightness I feel here, we don't feel there all the time.
Yeah. So that's again something, like that is very aha. Like, she's recognizing that people are more happier here and lighter.
Yeah.
Though she lives on an island and they have so easy access to ocean, and everybody from the world goes there to travel and things like that. So it's a very interesting.
And I want to add this thing before we move on and it's just coming up now. I think you people in India are not aware of the fundamental role you play for Indian descendant scattered around the world. Actually, you play such a deep role now healing. And if you just start becoming aware of it, even miles away, even those of us who will never be able to come, because for most of us it is a cost, we'll actually heal. Because we've lost so much, we've forgotten everything.
Yeah.
So when you start coming in that, like owning your power, that because you are here still on this land, and then we are there scattered somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Because of you, because of what you do and how you remember us, even if you don't know us, we will heal.
Right.
And the land where we are will also shift along. Because
Yeah.
you people are very powerful, and if you're still questioning why you exist here, don't do that anymore now.
Yeah, that's very powerful what she's saying, that being on this land and living here and being on our own journey of healing, healing from our own pain and all the baggage that we carry through whatever has happened. And it, though it's happening here and though we are awakening, it also has a ripple effect on all the descendants. across the world. There's so many people, like, during the time of the British and even before, who have moved to other parts of the continent, willingly or unwillingly. Maybe they were forced to move, and maybe they never could return back, and they still generations later have not returned back. And even for them, our journey and our journey of healing has a huge impact. So thank you so much, Megha, for saying that. So I just, now moving forward, I wanted to, since we're doing a She Stands Tall project live, I just wanted to just say a little bit about your journey, because many people do not know, that about Shakti-ship, and we do this 21 weeks of journey, and that's how I think we got more deeply connected, right, through the 21 weeks of Shakti-ship. Just telling a little bit of your journey through Shakti-ship, and what did you receive from the journey? How did it play a role in your awakening and healing?
It brought me to myself every day that we've been on that journey. So I'm very blessed that I did this 2015 and 2016 one.
Correct.
And I will be honest, it was very painful, not because the entire journey is designed in a painful way. It's very painful because each time we discover something which is true and natural to our wisdom, we realize how much we've been domesticated, like how much limited belief I had about myself. Even my connection with my body, with my menses, it was so distorted. It was so made like demonized. Everything was turned into dirtiness, and it has been from that moment onward, like letting go of layers and layers and layers. Each time we thought on the Shakti-ship journey, like, we're lighter now, we've like move on. The next minute something else come up, and it still come up.
Right.
It does still come up. We still see my sense of worthiness as a human being, as a woman.
Yeah.
And the mere act, I remember one of the first calls when you asked us what being a woman meant. And then I was so happy I went on, and then when I heard you and when you started questioning, I was like, well, I don't know what being a woman means, because I attached being a woman to roles that I played, to identity. So that was a massive discovery, but it was also very painful because it made me realize that I was already over 30 years, and it feels like I've missed a big part of my life, not knowing where I'm going. But then there were other things that happened because we went through that journey. My health changed. There were times when I had it would feel physically painful, but in truth it wasn't physically painful. It was just I was letting go of what was not serving me. My head changed. There's a lightness that's been coming and it's still deepening. It keeps on deepening. The way I flow through the world, the way I move, and becoming conscious of it. So Shakti-ship is exactly what you say. You nudge us. You just create that safe space, like you gently nudge us, and at times, even if you keep gently nudging us, the entire process it's like a shake. And at times, if we don't want to wake up, it will actually break us up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't break up like we get shattered. It breaks us in such a way that we have tools. So the way you actually wake up, design this entire journey is, while you feel like you're being broken down and you will die now, because we always have this sensation of dying because the beliefs are dying. The limited of beliefs of not being worthy, not being good enough, or I can't do that, or maybe women shouldn't be doing that and doing this. Very tiny example. So when we get broken down, we actually have tools on Rekha's side, materials, activities, very, very deep tool. At times it can be just a simple act of journaling or sketching, and you will be like, I'm done with that sketch. No, he's never done, because after the sketch, it's actually whatever you do. This is how I feel like as a life coach. It's really heart to muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So my heart may understand it, but until my heart, I do not allow my heart to move through my entire body, it doesn't really become an ingrained belief. So for me personally, that's how I've been living whatever you've done. It's like a really heart to muscle journey.
Beautiful. That's when I am hearing it for the first time. So Megha just spoke about heart to muscle journey.
Yeah.
That's very, very powerful. Like letting your heart inform, right, your body, your flesh, because our flesh carries so many memories, right? And there is emotions in our body that we don't allow ourselves to feel, and in some ways we have to feel and let them move, and that process is always very painful, and you feel it in the body. So that heart to flesh, heart to body, right?
Yeah.
Heart to muscle. Heart to muscle. It's very, very beautiful. And so I want to go into our the question that you already spoke about it, that when about being a woman, because many times when you ask somebody what does being a woman mean, you would hear all these, I'm a mother, you have all these roles and responsibilities that we are either given or that we take on in our life, and all our identity of being a woman is about that. And as you said, the journey you discovered that is there something more, to being a woman. So now I'm going to ask you this question. Now where you are, what does being a woman mean to you?
So right now in this moment in time, I will say being a woman means flowing through this world through my rhythm. So I have a body, biologically I have a body, and when I speak of my body, I'm not speaking of how society has constructed it, like she's got this kind of sexual part, and she means, no, I'm speaking of how I feel through my body, my womb, my menstruation, my heart. So being a woman is, for me, right now, I'm still learning to move through the world with this rhythm. So my heart says sing, my belly says sing, my womb says sing. I create from that space, and I've actually learned to reconnect and remember that space through Shakti. That's how the words and the sketches and the goddesses and much more start flowing out. So being a woman is really flowing through the world, through rhythm, and there is no template to that. There is no one template. It's very individual, but it has to be individual because it's so interconnected.
Right.
So it's like being a woman means you finding your own fragrance, which is so, there is a fragrance to that.
Yeah, that's such a beauty. It's so somatic and sensory. So I really like that being a woman has its own fragrance. And it's a fragrance of every woman.
Yeah.
Right? And letting that fragrance emerge outside the narratives of culture, religion, the land you were born, your ancestry, even finding your own rhythm. And how is that rhythm? Because everything in nature has a rhythm, and women, so it's very beautiful, finding your own rhythm. So and you also spoke about creating from that rhythm. So I want to go in, so slowly I want to move into many things that you're doing. So first thing I want to speak about is the necklace that you're wearing, and that how you started creating it, and just tell us about that, because it's so beautiful. So I'm just going to take a moment to wear mine, because this is something that Megha makes, and whenever she comes, I think first time it came without her. When we had our first conference, one of our sisters, Pratibha, from when she was coming from Mauritius, Megha sent many of these necklaces with her, and these are fully natural. They are from the earth, from nature, all the beads. So I want Megha to tell you, and I'm going to wear mine. Okay, so
shall I start sharing?
Yeah.
So those who are on island, and even in Africa, if you look at it, you will recognize it. And back home, we call this collier. Collier means beads, and sipai is the word we give it, is the name we give it. And as a child, we were not allowed to play with it because their leaves had a little spike and they will give you fever. They actually were, which means they are very powerful. They activate the leaves. So we weren't allowed to play with it, but I always loved them. There's something in them that reminds me, because this is true. This is not. It's like a gift from nature. So I still go and pick them up. Like I will take my little nephew with me, Jalen, and we'll go and. I need like a young man, just in case something happens. We go and pick them up, and I love to thread them, and I thread them intentionally. So I just don't thread them like that. So when I thread, I might be saying a prayer or saying wishes or chanting or just good music. And I feel that this is an act of love. So when I knew I was coming and Padua was like, so did you have enough to do beads? I was like, I find a way out. Because you could buy things to give to people. But when it comes with intention and an act of love, it changes everything. And this is one way of me moving through the world with my rhythm. So I actually reconnected with this through Shakti. I wouldn't have done it with that. This is how I feel. And I wear it, and after when I wear it, I know people look at me weirdly back home. They're like, "Why even she's wearing that? This is weird." I'm like, find me weird, and I'll wear even more. So yeah, these are beads that I make, and it's one of my intentions actually. Wherever I will travel. So I was in US last year for my fellowship. I gifted actually one to my very good friend. He's a guy, Rado. He's from Madagascar. So whenever he wears it, he sends me a picture.
Yeah.
So it's my intention actually.
Right.
Wherever I will travel in the world, if I don't have this bead, I will have some other natural bead. It's my way of living my presence. So when I think of myself and me living this physical body, I don't know when, it can happen anytime. It's like knowing that I've lived my presence, my fragrance around. Just a reminder that we all been domesticated.
Yeah.
And it is hard to let go of the domestication because it's a mask, it's comfort. So let this be a reminder for you actually that you have played such a powerful role, and you're still playing a very powerful role in me coming to India, in me doing what I'm doing, and in other women's life and other men's life. Because when you touch us through She Stand Tall, you touch also the men who is in our surrounding. Yeah.
Thank you, Megha. That feels like heart to muscle. I'm just letting it flow from the heart to the muscle and letting my body recognize and acknowledge it. I also, since yesterday we had this very beautiful experience when we were at this Let's Talk Shiksha. My sister was doing this first time, and we had this young girl in there. Do you want to tell them what happened?
Yeah, she's a Nanya, and she's only 6 years old, but she has such an open mind for her age. One of her intentions was to learn maximum. It's very powerful from a 6-year-old girl to tell you she wants to learn maximum from life. And then in the end, I had one of my beads. This one had a little bit of gold, because gold is like my signature. And she asked, what is it? And I gifted it to her. She said thank you, but actually it was a reverse, because I feel so honored that she asked what is it, and it was like, again, hard to muscle. I was like, it has to go to her, so it went to her.
She recognized, she was drawn to it. You know, like nobody else asked, or
no, nobody else.
This little child is the one, and we both were the only ones wearing it. And so since she knows me, she pulled me and she said, what is this? Like, what are you both wearing? Like, imagine that, something that is so, that just shows how young girls, your children are so tuned to rhythm.
They are.
They feel it so strongly, right? So now, since you've spoken about the beads, before we go into the book, I want to bring these. I'm going to bring these images.
Please.
So, if you're Megha's friend and if you're on a Facebook, then you've definitely seen these. So Megha does these beautiful illustrations, and this is her signature illustrations. It's with these two colors, black and gold, and they are phenomenal. Sometimes when you look at them, you see ancient forms. Those of us who work with women's narratives and who work with Paleolithical and Neolithical images and signs and patterns, we can easily recognize so many patterns and signs from the ancient times that that have been unearthed on stone hinges, on caves, and these are just beautiful, and they have such a powerful energy. So I want Megha to talk to us about the journey of discovering these images, and then we will also tell you, if you want to have one, where can you get them? Okay. So Megha, do you want to share with us
Well, they came out right through Shakti Shape in 2015. But when they came out, it was me remembering that I've been drawing on. I shared that on Rishma's call, that I've been drawing on my hands and legs as young I could remember, maybe around 10. And it went on till I was 15 or 16. And I would actually draw bulbs. It wasn't really like human being, but it was like bulb was human being. For me, it was my way of speaking of human being. And then I had this very close best friend in high school. And then one day she came, she said, "This is obscene." And it wasn't obscene. It was something so powerful. So when she said that, it kind of made me feel like maybe this is something very bad. So I burned everything. Wow. I literally burned. I remember.
How old were you then?
I was like 16 and 17, something like that. So I burned everything. I never drew again. So I was studying art. But it was not, even when I was studying art, it wasn't human being that fascinated me. It was how you could actually take any shape and out of the shape build another shape, symbolically. Because the square is a square, but there are millions of ways to represent the square. So this is, I never understood why symbolically, because symbol actually is a language.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful language. It's a coded language. It carries energy, it carries intention. So when we went to the first Shakti Ship, it just flew. So we started the first activities with you. Each time we had a call on, even aside the call, the way it's designed, we go through the journey, we have activities today every week. So every now and then we will go through that. So as we deepen through the activities, these shapes started coming.
Emerging. Because art was one of the engagements of expression.
Right? It's a very, very powerful engagement. And for me it's very powerful. And they keep emerging. Like at one point I was like, oh, I've done everything I could do. No, there is no end to it. And why do I use black and gold? Again, for me it's very significant, and it's come from Shakti Shape. Black is this darkness that we go through, which is not bad. Darkness is darkness. It is whatever it is. And that's one very powerful thing I've learned. I can speak for myself. I've come to recognize and honor through Shakti Shape is darkness isn't bad. It is what it is. Whatever you feel, it is what it is. But if your rhythm knows this is not natural to your rhythm, if you allow it to be your rhythm, will find a way to alchemize it. It will process it for you, and it will just push you beyond. And this is where gold comes. Though I don't wear gold, gold is very symbolic for me, because it speaks of this process of alchemizing something. Like I've done something internally, I've processed it, and now it's beyond the blackness, the darkness. But gold at the same time honors and recognizes the dark. So gold will not exist without the dark. And darkness is so important because it whispers the possibility of alchemist. Yeah. So that's a balance. That's why both of these colors are ever present and always here. And I'm so in love with these. Yeah, they make me fall in love.
Yeah, it's very powerful. It's like there's this. It's like uncursing the dark. Yeah. Really reclaiming the dark, and I didn't know the significance. And gold is alchemy. The whole alchemy process is about becoming gold, right? Yeah. And so that's very powerful. So alchemizing the darkness and really creating that gold, within and without, recognizing, having the ability to even recognizing, and it's such a powerful process that you're sharing. And even then you shared about writing on our hands, because I remember as kids we always do that, and in many times we get scolded, and the parents are in a hurry to take it out, and kids love to scribble on the wall. Recently we had been to a friend's house, and all the walls were like masterpieces of a daughter and it was so beautiful to see that. Because otherwise we care more about our plain walls than the art of our daughter or our son, And I think that the age that kids draw, I think they just have to be let to do what they do.
Yeah.
And so do you want to tell them if someone is interested in buying this, especially in India right now, and also anywhere in the world?
Yeah. So in India, actually, for those or in Bangalore or even just in India, they will be placed at Lahe Lahia from this week. So maybe you could give details about Lahe.
So 13 of these paintings are framed, and they're going to be available at Lahe Lahe. So they're going to be on display at Lahe Lahe. You can buy it from Lahe Lahe, and so that's a great opportunity. And if you want if you want more of them, so you can write directly to Megha on Facebook or message her.
Yeah, or even contact you.
Or you can contact me, and I will take your message, and we can figure out how it can reach you, and she can ship it to you, or so it can be done. And these are original. These are not prints. She doesn't do prints. So you're getting an original work of her. So it's really very powerful, and
and there's an intention actually with each sketch. So if you get her in your space, in your house, in your office, wherever it is, as you go through your entire interpretation of whatever you see there, whether you call it he, she, it, or life, it will evolve. And maybe at one point in your life you will feel like this is done, it has service purpose, and now it has to go to someone else's house. That's why I choose not to do copies.
Prints, yeah.
Let it be original, because of the prayers that is there, the intention that it is loaded with.
Yeah. And I personally feel that is how art is always meant to be.
Yeah.
Because it always comes with an intention and power. And as women, when we create something, whether be it art, whether be it food, it has to come from that intention. It has to come from that deep space of spirit and presence, because then who it goes to, it has a huge impact on that. But of course, it's important that we are in tune with our own rhythm, because if we are not, we are also passing on that disconnect. So it's either ways we are passing on something, because I feel we are the regenerators of society and community, and we have been given that gift by nature. And I think the whole journey of She Stands Tall project is also for women to recognize, acknowledge, and take responsibility for that gift, instead of shunning it off and feeling overburdened by that. How can the rhythms of nature support you in owning that? So now I also want to take a moment. I don't want to speak too much about the book, because I want to let the mystery be there, because we're going to do an event on 21st of April at the Arts Village on St. Mark's Road in Bangalore. And you'll even get to buy the book signed by her, and it's going to be a conversation about the book. And this it's a phenomenal book. I mean, it is. I am so amazed and deeply touched and inspired by this book. And I want to start by just asking you just this question here, that you say in the very beginning that Whispers of Faith is not meant to be read, she says. It is meant to journey with you through your life.
Yeah.
Right? So can you tell me something about, tell us something about Whispers of Faith, this book. And it also has, if you see, it also has her art, and it has these beautiful, we will read a passage from it. I will let Megha pick something from here, and maybe you can begin by just opening a page, reading it, and then tell us about your, journey of.
Okay. Your life is a constant love story between you and divine. Every encounter, every loss, every gain, every smile, and every pain are sent to your path for that one reason: move you closer to divine. And this is so symbolic, because it connects me to all that we've been speaking about. She Stands Tall, the journey we've been going through, and for many women, it's actually moving us closer to divine and our own divinity.
Yeah.
So yes, our life is really a constant love story, but we're just not aware of it.
Right.
How we move, how we walk, how I touch my hair, everything is a love story.
And tell us what made you even start. You started the Morning Whispers, and I'm feeling that all that somehow
It's very connected.
Yeah, came into this book. No, tell us about the Morning Whispers. You started as this little girl,
Yeah.
right?
I was writing at the fairy store.
Fairy Whisper. Yeah.
So Fairy's Whisper actually was in 2015. So I kept writing, and Fairy's Whisper came to Bangalore for the first conference of She Stands Tall. So she received the blessing. So I sent the whispers with Pratibha, and I know she was blessed. She came back. And that's very symbolic, because she came out Fairies Whispers, and she came out of this Whispers of Faith. So even when this book came out, and I have a lot of people who were like, so do you have something else which is known as Fairies Whispers? Because they remember Fairies Whispers. And I was like, well, it's the same, it's her voice.
Yeah.
So what is Whispers of Faith, very briefly, and why do I say it's meant to journey with? Faith is not, it's not something constant. It's not a straight path. It's very painful at times.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. It's full of doubt. There's darkness there. There's gold. So that's why I say it's not meant to be read. It's meant to be journeyed with. The book has been crafted by two amazing women that I've worked with. So it's technically a woman project that I've worked with, two amazing sisters. They've done it in such a way which reminds us of life. So it's done in an untypical way. We've done on purpose to leave mistakes, like there are no full point everywhere, there are no commas everywhere. And there are places like we've done on purpose to leave very weird constructed phrases, just to let you become aware that even if all of this is like, maybe there are like grammatical mistakes, well, life is like that. Just because you've heard it doesn't remove the purity and beauty of it. It doesn't mean that your natural rhythm has died. It is still there. You just have to just wake up and show yourself to it. So that's why we say it's meant to journey with. And I'm very humble, because every time I get a feedback from someone, I just go and take my copy and I get to rediscover what happened. So it happened. It happens through me very quickly. It was something that we spoke about with my first friend Corina, and her sister Pascal worked on that. So we spoke very quickly, and within 2 months it was out. So how it actually, I met the printing person on the 9th of November, how he actually gave me my project on the 29th of November, it's almost impossible. Even when he speaks to me about it, he's like, we still don't understand how we deliver the project. With so many, we had technical issues because of sketches. Because when you have digital sketches, it's one thing. All my sketches are hand.
Correct.
So they actually transfer it. And when they transfer it, they had to clean it off. Yeah. It was clean and transfer. And at one point they realized that there was a huge conflict with their own program. And this thing, so it had to be reconverted and retransferred and re-cleaned and reshaped and re-put back. We put back in such a way to give someone this feeling that it's part of it, it has never been sketched by a human hand. So it was like really massive mess all around. But when it came out as a blessing. But when it came out, a lot of things happened to me and to people involved in it. And I feel like those who get to come on 21st and listen to the conversation we'll have, it will be very humbling, because we also want to share about the other side that people don't talk about.
Correct.
This is not about like glory and being in the limelight. There's much to it, and I feel that all this is teaching me to be human, to stay humble and be humble, because the journey is not over.
Yeah.
As long as I'm alive, there's so much like letting go to happen and release to happen.
Yeah, we are shedding all the time, right? We're shedding and peeling the layers of who we are and discovering ourselves every day, if we give ourselves opportunity to do that, right? So so I hope I will see you, and please share it with your friends. It's open to everyone. It's a free event, so it's between 4 to 6 coming Saturday. At the Arts Village, so please do come with your friends, and I hope we see many of you who are watching, and bring your family, your friends, bring your kids. I also want to move a little further. I think I'm seeing that we've almost at 40 minutes of the call. I also want to ask you, like you spoke about being a woman. I also want to ask you, how do you let that part of your own self, because the world we live in, right, doesn't necessarily support us.
It doesn't.
Right? So the narrative, this is just to ask, because when we take on these journeys, when we become present and when we awaken to who we are, it also calls for many things which are different from how we lived our life before, right? Because I personally, when I look at my own life, how I was even 8 years ago, how I lived my life and how I live my life today, they are so different. And it's nothing about right or wrong. It's like when you begin to see more, you can choose what to do.
Yeah.
Right? Earlier I didn't see many things. Now I see many things, and the interconnectedness of many things, of everything in my life. And because right now we are also at a point with so much violence against women happening. There's so much going on in the world, right? So being a woman, how do you situating in that, whatever that you spoke about, how do you be in the world and still interact in the world, still be present? Because it's not easy when you feel things. It's not easy, right? No. And I think that's a question for so many women, that I feel too much. I don't want to feel, because that's our first thing, that I don't want to feel.
Yeah.
I just want to go on. I want to fit into this narrative because that's easy. That's what I know.
Yeah.
And so how has it been for you to step out of that narrative, go into this journey of heart to muscle, right? And do what you do?
In 2010, I made a commitment to dedicate myself to myself.
Yeah.
And one of the person who commented, Bruno Wumet, he was the lead trainer of a women leadership program I went through at that time, and we all say we'll be eternally grateful for that man, because he was part of something way beyond what they were doing at that. Maybe they didn't even realize what bringing women together would mean. This was corporate context in end up not being corporate for us, especially what we were living. So when I made that commitment, I think it took me back then 5 years to land on the Central project, because I had things to let go and let go and let go. So what do I do to be, like you say, to come to that phase like I'm just being a woman, and when there is no acceptance, actually there are no social structures that will honor and nurture this my beingness. And we've learned that from the program, and it's been on since. The power in being vulnerable, and have boundaries, but also talk about it. And I've witnessed this in my life personally. I talk about this with my sister. My sister cousins. So they are like one of them is online right now. They are not just supportive of what I do, but they actually start absorbing. So even their own experience and journey to menstruation and being a woman has started to shift so much. So when women say we don't want to feel, we just want to keep going, I was there at that point in my life in 2010, and I can say that because I've kept going for years, I was physically dying, and this was very dangerous. Probably I wouldn't have been here today. I would have maybe be lying down or physically dead. So it's really about the power of being vulnerable, and when you make a commitment which is loaded with intention, whether the world wants you to be or not, trust me, the entire nature and your own wisdom will find a way just to be. And I feel this is what is happening for me and many Shakti sisters and all the so powerful women and even men out there, because we've made that conscious choice. Our wisdom is finding its own way. So I'm not even fully conscious of what are the way that my wisdom has found to be, but it has found its way. And I do feel like I end up being not typical, or not like I speak in ways at times to people in sessions, in training. Might sound a little bit weird, where is she coming from? But it's a choice I've made not to hide. I use them at times I use like almost like a magician way of writing. That's one of my archetypes actually from the Carl Jung wheel. When I did my test, the magician in the love is very present. So it's a choice. So even when I will write a debrief of the coaching, I will use that voice. because that's my way of showing up and being a woman. That's my rhythm. Maybe tomorrow I will be something else. So it's a conscious choice of I'm not hiding, and we know it's not always easy, because we want to be accepted, we want to be loved, especially let's forget the word, coming from our parents, our close one, we want that. But at the same time, I've come to an understanding that if I fake happiness for them, they will end up being unhappy in the long term. But if right now they are not happy with who I am, in coming months and weeks and years, they will be happy, because they will just see that I'm glowing and I'm happy. And actually, this is what's happening when I look at the women in my life, my aunties and my cousins, my sisters, and even my mother. My mother actually is growing now, gradually seeing that, oh, this is who she is.
Yeah.
And my aunties and cousins, they are so supportive. Even the nephews, like, they see a difference happening, and they want to be part of the movement. And when I look at the women, the only way they're actually getting part of this movement is they are helping us in it. They are not even aware of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very powerful, because many times we feel that we need to teach people or save people, or and I think the only person, this is my own personal, and I always speak about that in She Stands Tall project, that the only person who needs to awaken and learn is me. And when I recognize and when I awaken, maybe, when I live heart to muscle, because our bodies are so connected, and it just sparks that. There's no other way. It's not possible for the other. You can fight for a long time, everybody around you, but the rhythm will bring everybody into the rhythm, especially those who we are very closely connected to. So that's so beautiful to hear, Megha, and that is actually the way of awakening and way of being the change as well. I can be the change, whether everybody around me is the change or not. It's not. And so I think we are almost coming to the end of our call, and I just want to take a moment to even maybe you can talk a little bit about we're going to do something in Mauritius, right?
Yeah.
We are planning a women's conference in Mauritius in September. It's a 3-day conference, a very small conference. Right now we are inviting all the women who have been part of the Shakti-ship journey for that, and we hope that in the future we can have a bigger conference. But this conference is also about, like 2 years ago in 2016, when we did our first conference in India, we really called in the forces to awaken this space. And I didn't know anybody when I first came here, and all my sisters, from everywhere in the world, they came and we did this. And today we have a very, very beautiful sisterhood in Bangalore, and growing, and this work is growing, and women are joining and awakening, and we're bringing that same force and the same energy to Mauritius, right? And to just bring the power of women. And this is no way, because I know I using the word woman a lot, but this is no way to negate men. It's not about that. It's just about, as women, when we synchronize into rhythm, we also gift that rhythm and the flow of that rhythm to the men in our life, our sons, our brothers, our lovers, our partners, our fathers, our uncles. So it's a journey that we all benefit from. So do you want to tell people something about our Mauritius conference?
The Mauritius conference actually is happening in September, so we check in on the evening on the 13 and then 14, 15, 16 afternoon we end. It's happening in a very beautiful place in forest, so those from Mauritius know it. It's known as Domaine de l'Orbe Voyageur, the Traveler's Tree Lodge.
Oh.
And it's a very powerful space and place to come. And this is something a lot of women need to hear. Just because it's a women conference, it doesn't mean there is men alienation. The intention and the whole essence is, unless you start learning to connect with your own wisdom, then you can actually start going back home and give to men the way they need to be given, and we will teach them to receive, and we are so disconnected to our own wisdom. But there is so much magic that will happen there. So watch out the space, go and like She Stand Tall page, watch out the space there. They will actually be feeding more details, and probably before I fly out, we will have more details coming up for the conference. And we actually will be inviting women entrepreneurs around the world, and even in Mauritius, be part of the journey. Sponsor another woman if you can, or sponsor something. Yeah.
And also we will be doing, as a stepping stone to the conference, we will be doing many workshops in Mauritius. We'll be bringing a lot of this wisdom there. So, so watch out for it, and I hope all the sisters in Mauritius, you join this journey for your own self. And you know, so I think we're kind of coming to the close of our call. Megha, is there any? Yeah, it's beautiful. I think I can be here just continuing this conversation forever. And so is there anything that you would like to say to the women who are listening? The women and the men too, you know, if there's anybody who's listening, who's going to listen even later, is there something that you would like to say about even being a woman, or the journey, or anything?
There is power when you connect with yourself as a woman, but there is even infinite, and you can't describe the kind of power that emerges when you learn to journey with other women in circle, in sisterhood, in womanhood. And this is something very, there are no words to describe what we go through She Stand Tall. So if you are right here in a phase in your life, and you kind of don't know where we are going on, what's going to happen, and you always freak out, and there's just things that you feel like you're being called to, but you can't put your finger out there. So I will say, just open your eyes and open your heart. There might be answers coming through what we've just spoken about. And maybe we might not be the people you would want to work with, but there might be people very much connected. Because it's time to stop giving and stop wanting to be on your own. It's time to open up and know that there are safety. There is safe spaces around. Go there, reach out, and most importantly, I think this is the prayer you taught us. We pray that each and every woman and man go back to their natural rhythm. And the world doesn't need more than that. The world is already giving so much to us.
Definitely. And just to add for you to know, we are starting She Stands Tall project for the first time. We are entering in the space of hosting Circle for Men. So on May 11th, in the same space that we do Women's Circle, we are hosting our first Men's Circle at Lahe Lahe, and it will be done in very similar way that we do the Women's Circle, and it's the theme is going to be, for every circle, it is going to be into the feminine heart. So to find your own vulnerability as a man, to find your own intimacy, to really let yourself be seen, and to shed the layers of masculine narratives that have been thrust upon men by patriarchy, by social, cultural, religious way of, that we have carried. Even from ancestry it comes. So how do you shed them? How do you shed layers of that and let yourself be seen by your own self and by other men in your life? And so if men who are watching, we invite you, and we will soon see it on the She Stands Tall project. But I just want to share that because, as Megha said, one of the prayers that we really hold very dear to us is that may all men and women, be awakened to their own rhythm, and may they remember and reclaim who they are here to be. And I think on that note, it was so wonderful, Megha. I'm meeting her for the first time, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like everybody, in my family is like not met each other before. It's like it feels like we have just always known each other. It doesn't feel, even for my family, my sister also feels like she knows Megha.
So I found a party here, a party and a tata. So I still call him uncle, but party I will call her.
She's talking about my parents as party and tata. They'll be very happy to have that, So it's such a beautiful, and that what you said, that part of sisterhood, and it's so powerful. We are so connected even without the physical seeing, and without having to talk about, all the conversations usually women we find is gossip and clothes, and even if we don't speak, just our presence and being together, that is so powerful. Our bodies recognize each other and give, it's from that, again, heart to muscle. And so thank you so much, Megha. I'm so honored to have you here on this call today, on this journey. And I'm looking forward to Saturday on 21st. And I know that conversation is going to impact and inspire so many women and men who are going to be present there. And everyone who has the book is definitely, I am really telling you, your life is going to change with the words in this book. It's real magic. It's really magic. The book is pure magic. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Megha. And thank you everybody for watching us. And I just want to see some of the comments. So I see Selvina.
That's my sister.
Oh,
my little sister.
Oh, that's Megha's sister. And thank you. Yes, we are very lucky also. And thank you so much for sharing her with us. And we're very honored to have her here, and we are taking good care, I hope, of her. So thank you so much, everybody, and happy Vishu. Yes, and may this Lunar New Year and all the days to come this year be a journey of growth and transformation. May it bring you closer to who you are, and then what you do, and may the who you are make what you do delicious and juicy and spirited. So give yourself permission to be vulnerable and really meet life from that vulnerability. Live life from that vulnerability, moment to moment, every day. Thank you so much. Blessed be. Thank you.